Welcome to Clyde Ping News.
Christopher Columbus is a name we've all heard, but who is he? That's a topic we want to talk about today. Columbus was an Italian navigator who was born in 1451. He grew up the oldest child in an Italian seaport of Genoa. His family was known but not rich. Growing up by the sea, Christopher quickly found a great interest in the sea and what goes beyond it. This led him to becoming a sailor as a teenager. As his career continued, he later visited places of Europe and the coast of Africa. During these adventures, he found shipwrecks and pirates. Not to mention, he found a passion for making maps and becoming a navigator. He had an extreme ambitious personality that you will see throughout his entire life. The drive had to be the best at everything turned him into an expert at interpreting weather patterns and dead reckoning. His achieving nature caught the eye of the royal court.
Christopher read Marco Polo's book due to the recent printing press invention, which had a heavy influence on the reason behind why he explored. It detailed the amazing riches that were waiting in the Far East. It also said that you could reach Asia by sea, using a westward route. Columbus thought this was a great idea and convinced the royal court after several failed attempts to support his journey there. They agreed and gave him a crew and 3 ships. Him and the crew had to stop on Gran Canaria, and then the trip took 5 weeks. He arrived at shore on October 12th, and he thought he was near Japan. For that reason, he called the natives Indians, since in that time period, India is what many Europeans called Asia. When the natives did not have all the treasures and valuable things that Columbus dreamed of, he noticed that they were wearing gold jewelry. He asked for more, and when they did not have much more, he searched all over for the large amount of gold that he was so desperate to bring back to Europe. On this search, the ship crashed into a reef on Hispaniola. He left 39 crew members there to start a colony and then went back to Spain with a warm welcome.
He brought back several new things to show the Spanish king. He was impressed with the new discoveries but wanted more gold. In efforts to find more gold, he sent Columbus back out with 17 ships and said he could govern all the lands he founded. Columbus went back to Hispaniola, but many would argue that it was a disappointment since he turned out to be such a cruel leader. When he got there, he was furious when he found out the native chief had killed 39 crew members that Christopher had left. The chief hated how Columbus invaded his land, and so war broke out. The Europeans won the war and Christopher became the governor. He abused his power for his own good by forcing the natives to search for gold, and would hurt them if they didn't find enough gold. Unfortunately, under Columbus's power, 50,000 natives died.
Back in Europe, the king and queen of Spain heard about his brutal methods of ruling over the natives and sent a lawyer out to inspect. When the lawyer came back, it was obvious that Columbus needed to be removed. He came back to Europe, spent a few years in prison, and he was set free. The king and queen allowed him to explore, but not go back to Hispaniola. Later on, he died on May 20th, 1506 at the age of 54. The cause of his death were a terminal illness relating to heart failure.
Christopher Columbus has helped Christianity grow. Columbus traveled to many places mixing religion and cultures. Columbus was a devout Christian and believed that the Holy Spirit and God inspired him to travel. After Columbus was done sailing, he started to write a book talking about his relationship with God and how he was inspired by his work. This affects us in today's world because Columbus was a big part of culture diffusion and spread of Christianity to other countries.
And that's our Christopher Columbus segment on Clyde Ping News.